Hypocrisy in the world policy rock the nation trust. The hypocrisy in politics of nation is a cancer that ruins the trust of nations. That is to say, one does not trust the other. In the context of politics of nation, the world is a team that keeps the worlds that everyone wants to devour the other. All nations practice a policy that might save. It's a policy that everyone for himself. Each nation defends its interests. It does not matter that nation A love nation B. Nation that protects its interests. There is no such question. Nations aim the other nation. Nation in foreign policy, in international politics, defend their own interest. If we do not do hypocrisy, this may be called the exploitation of one nation by another nation. And what is worse, no force cannot eliminate this evil. It is an exploitation of man by man. Karl Marx stated, in proportion of the exploitation of man, and you abolish the exploitation of nations. For the sake of realism, I find that international politics acts as it is. There is no moral ideal in the politics of nation. In international politics, we need to analyze the facts in the real way. This is the pragmatic realism of politics that each nation pursues a purpose, which is to preserve and save the nation. And when the interests of the nation are threatened, it's to transform into realism pragmatism to defend its interests. On this stage of international politics, it is a fact that there is no morality in politics of nations. For example, Russia has imposed the United States attack Syria, although it was obvious that the country president, Mr. Bashar al-Assad, used chemical weapons against his people. Vladimir Putin, the Russian president, used the political of immorality to protect the interests of his country in Syria. The United States doesn't support that Iran helps Iraq in the war against ISIS, the Islamist terrorist group. Great nations do the game of cat and mouse in the conflict between Palestine and Israel. These decisions show that the politics of nations is cynical, devoid of ideal. There is no moral and honest way in international politics. In a similar vein, I can say that there is no room for mediocre politicians in the politics of nations. There is nothing for nothing in politics of nations. The only thing that nations give for nothing in international affairs is hypocrisy. The field of international politics is not permeable. This is not a ground of for a naive politician. Unfortunately, many third world countries do not attach importance to international politics, which it should be a very important tool for the development of their countries. This country ignores that diplomacy is an art and a craft. Believe that all citizens are diplomats. The diplomat job is not a general trade. Nobody is born diplomat. One can become a diplomat as a condition of having prior knowledge. In the middle of international affairs, every nation is for itself. Therefore, a diplomat has to know its job. It is a pasture for the best. But corruption, wickedness, mediocrity allow a president to choose anyone to be a diplomat, which could be a disgrace for the nation. The president has sacrificed the interests of the country, the collective interests, for its personal interest. It is a national shame for a president who's supposed to defend the interests of its country. As a matter of fact, each nation has its own priority in international politics, which is a diverse, huge field that each nation can defend its own interest. However, the world could be an ideal environment if all nations believe that there is only one world. only one world. However, every nation pretends to fight for a utopian world where he would have no problems in the world. That's what they think. That's what they want to show the people. They fight for a unified world where there could be no problem in the world. That hypocrisy. They know for sure what they're looking for. They know for sure nation don't support, don't like the other nation. They know they defend their own interests. Nations has to know, has to justify what Erwin started, which is, as long as our values and well value remain obsolete until we run out of positive and incredible vision of the future, as our attitude and national and international policies or politics are short-sighted and selfish, we do not evolve toward a just and humane world, but regress to an impoverished planet, torn by differences of more and bigger, and finally divided by the violence. The politics of hypocrisy impels the good faith of international negotiation. It is obvious that each nation has its own priority on this state of international politics. However, an ideal politic or pragmatic idealism could feed more trust among nations. International politics is a will politics, a Machiavellian politics that every nation is its own judge, its protector to defend himself, to protect its interests in its survival. For example, the government of Iran said it doesn't not trust the U.S. the U.S. in the negotiation of its ambition for nuclear weapons. Iran knows that the U.S. is allied with Israel, which is an enemy of Iran. The truth is clear. But in the politics of nation, the way to convince and win are always moral and ethical. Cicero said, all that is useful become honest, even if it was not previous seem. The purpose of diplomat is to win, to emerge victorious in a negotiation. Nicholas Machiavelli stated that great men call shame the fact of losing and not the truth, and not the trick to win. Thank you. May God bless all.